We hide women's sins. Hi guys, I'm Belly. So today is going to be kind of just a video of me yapping, I guess. And also, side note, unrelated, I kind of look like a Victorian woman in mourning with this outfit on. I don't know, I kind of like it. But today we're going to be talking about how we hide women's sins, specifically in the church, and solutions. So let's just start naming what I notice. I have a sheet. Toxic positivity. So, toxic positivity is basically when someone's going through something or something is happening and like, and a girl will tell you, oh, no, it's okay. Oh, look on the bright side. Oh, no, you shouldn't feel that way. So just like toxic positivity, it's like not everything in life is going to be positive, and that's okay. Okay? Just because someone's going through a hard time doesn't mean that they don't see the good side to things, you know? So toxic positivity and just I think that's also kind of like a way to not be vulnerable with people. It's kind of just like ooh, dodging vulnerability maybe. That's kind of what it feels like. Um oh my god. Saying criticism is mean. So basically just uh you can't call me out. You can't say that. What? Why are you saying that? I think criticism equals bad. I think one of the biggest indicators of this would be the fat positivity movement. It's like, I got a little chub on my rub, okay, everybody does. But being obese, come on now. Um, so like saying criticism is mean, like, oh, you can't say that what I do is bad or that I shouldn't do that. Basically stuff like that. This is basically just to avoid accountability. Next we have grifting and hiding sins to get approval. So grifting is basically just you're putting on like a front for a group of people when in reality you're not like doing what you say you are. Basically, you're just being two-faced and you're trying to get approval. And like in history, it makes sense that women may have done this so that they aren't kicked out of society. But basically, it's just hypocrisy, wrapped up with whatever political thing they actually don't believe in or term or label. Um, you know. Next we have giving bad advice to weaponize it. So a big example would be like a hairdresser who's cutting someone's hair, and the hairdresser who perceives that woman to be equal or more attractive than her says, "Oh, you should cut your hair shorter." And a lot of hairdressers will actually purposely cut your hair shorter um to make you look worse than them. So, I think it's really interesting how they do this. And on average, when you go to the hairdressers, they will cut your hair a couple inches shorter than you ask. Not because they don't know how to do their job, but because they want you to just be a little less attractive. And it's really, really hard to talk about something like this because people think, oh, you're just after them. Oh, you think everyone's after you. Oh, you think you're so attractive. Like, no. But I think it's just true that a hairdresser when they perceive you as equal or more attractive, will try and get you to have a dumb haircut or, oops, I cut off 5 inches of your hair when you said three. um, so I think that's just like giving bad advice and then saying, oh, that didn't work out for you. That's kind of like what they do. Oh no, my advice didn't work for you, and now you don't feel good or you don't look good. Too bad. Um, Next is ignoring your friend's sins. So saying stuff like, uh, you're the prize. Like, you didn't do anything wrong ever throughout the entire relationship. Like, he is 100% in the wrong. And it's like, I'm glad that people want to lift up their friends, but I think they do it in a way where they just completely ignore the part where their friend was talking to another guy or had a spotty history or wasn't telling the full story, and we just chalk it up to you're the prize, he doesn't know what he's missing. This isn't always true. Like, sometimes guys obviously are the ones who are, but I think it's something to think about. Next we have slander and gossip. This one's pretty self-explanatory. Not gonna linger on it too much, but it's pretty self-explanatory. Slander, gossip, just not telling the truth or saying things that just are not other people's business, I guess. Next we have this one's a big one. Downplaying and minimizing sins during confession or just to other people in general. So this is just like, oh, I didn't know. Like, I mean, I didn't mean it that way, but, or stuff like that, basically. There's also the men do worse. So, like, oh, well, men do worse, so therefore my actions are okay. And then this is just like, this is basically just like a woman's sin. And we're trying to say, oh yeah, we do this, but I didn't mean it that way. I didn't really think about it like that. I didn't intend for it to, oh, but men are worse. So basically just the whole deflecting thing again and just downplaying what things we've done, basically. Next we have envy and status. So it's like, I think that we see men be super obsessed with a super big house and sports cars and just having a ton of women, like, just status, basically, and stuff like that. I think that men are definitely more in tune with wanting status, but women are more in tune to being envious. So it's like envy, status, leaving a man for more. Listen, um, I think that some marriages definitely end because the woman is just like, you don't like do this. Like, you're like, I could do so much better. And listen, there are definitely guys who are just idiots, slobs, cheaters, abusers that you should definitely leave. But I think most guys aren't like that. And, if you just don't want to be in the relationship, you don't have to blame it on wanting more. You just want more status and you're just envious of what your friends tell you about their relationship. You don't actually maybe want to leave him. It's kind of hard to put into words, which is why I put this video off for so long, but it's true. So a big example of envy, status, leaving for more, is like when women will talk with their friends, and let's say like you show them your engagement ring, and they say, oh, your engagement ring is only 1 carat, or it was only a couple $1,000 or whatever, and it's just like planting a seed of doubt into this person's brain. Oh, my ring should be bigger. Oh, I should nag my husband about it. That's another thing, nagging. I think that nagging somebody here and there to like clean up after themselves or to do something that actually matters, yes. But when it comes to nagging about things that don't matter, like, okay, sometimes there's a little bit of a mess. Whatever. You don't have a 1,000,000 carat ring. Who cares? Like, these friends, quote unquote, will like plant seeds of doubt into your brain, making you think that you don't have enough. And it's like, you have a bed to sleep in. you have a nice ring that he spent obviously some money on, like, who cares if it's only 1 carat or like whatever, you know? But that's kind of just the whole envy status and leaving for more trifecta. Next, we have victim card being triggered and crocodile tears. So, what are crocodile tears specifically? Crocodile tears are just crying when you're in the wrong, using emotion to manipulate. That's basically the best way to explain it. Same with the victim card. The victim card is just like, well, this happened to me in the past, therefore I could just do whatever I want. That's basically what that is. You also have like, I wouldn't necessarily say triggered, but like, oh no, you can't say that, you can't bring that up, we can't talk about this serious subject or something for the future because it triggers me or it like gives me anxiety or whatever. And don't get me wrong, there's a time and a place to talk about serious things, but I do see a lot of people, like women specifically online, saying la 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 la, no, I'm triggered, la la la, nope, can't, nope, blah, blah, blah. And then of course the victim card and the crocodile tears. Next we have fake accusations. 60% of Air Force sexual assault was false and motivated by revenge. So this is a pretty like hefty subject to get into, but the reason I bring this up is because if we ignore the women who are falsely accusing men, it takes away from the real victims of SA and actual abuse and all those other things. And this kind of ties in, you know, to women having fake accusations for vengeance. It also kind of ties into the envy and status thing. So this is a pretty hefty topic, but if you think about it for more than 2 seconds, we have to call out the women who are falsely accusing men so that the women who are actually getting hurt have justice, you know? So it's like 60% of these women are making false accusations, which takes away from the 40% of women that were actually encountering sexual abuse. And that's just the truth. We gotta call it out. So next we have being petty and like holding a grudge is cute. Stop, guys. Like, I'm so petty. Like, ha ha ha. Come on now. So basically, just like, oh, I hate that girl. I hate her. Like, just pretending that our pettiness and our secret want for vengeance is cute. No, it's not. It's not. It's not. Okay. Okay. Next we have. This kind of ties into pettiness and holding a grudge. Silent treatment. Silent treatment. Just because this also kind of goes with like the whole victim card triggered crocodile tears thing. It's where women are petty and they're using the victim card to have a silent treatment. You know, it's okay to be mad at somebody, but it's not okay to just pretend that they don't exist. Because what if they like died the next day or something, and now you never get a chance to resolve that issue with them? You know, so silent treatment, pettiness, all of it. Next we have emasculating. So, I mean, I guess an example would be like, let's say you're in a relationship or married, and your husband or boyfriend has to ask you if they're allowed to go hang out with their friends or if they're allowed to spend a couple bucks on like a coffee. And don't get me wrong, I think that managing time and money is important in a relationship, but don't let that be an excuse to literally micromanage your husband, your spouse, or not spouse, your husband or your boyfriend specifically. So just very emasculating, and uh oh my goodness, I can't think. Emasculating and just uh I forgot. I don't even know. But yeah, so just emasculating, being petty, the silent treatment, like it's just come on now. Okay? Your husband should not have to like beg for him to be able to hang out with his friends. If there's like a conversation about the kind of people he's hanging out with or where he's going, that's a serious conversation. You shouldn't just like, emasculate him. Like, it's yeah. Next we have no accountability and specifically no repentance. So just not repenting for what you have done, uh, kind of just ignoring things. Uh, and I mean, there's many ways you can avoid accountability that I have listed. Uh, Using the victim card, false accusations, thinking that being petty is cute, like just ignoring accountability. Next, oh, this is, don't even get me started. No modesty, especially around children. And listen, if you're wearing booty bubble butt shorts around little kids, you're a predator. You're a predator. You need to have your hard drive checked. I will die on that hill. Listen, like, if a man is wearing a Speedo around children, that's weird. If a woman is wearing a little tooth, uh, dental floss bikini around children, or a booty bubble skirt at Disney World where children are looking up and seeing your gazonks, somehow that's not predatory. If you actually believe that dressing even slightly slutty or whatever around children is okay, you need to have your hard drive checked. Mhm. Yeah. Yep. Mhm. All right. Speaking of modesty, we have the excuse as old as time. God knows me. It's a heart issue. And the reason I'm like about this is because, yes, you're right. God knows our hearts. God knows us. And it is a heart issue. Like, modesty is inside and outside. See, we're forgetting the outside part too. Now, am I saying you have to dress like I am right now? Like a full sweater? No, I'm wearing this because it's cold. But it's like, don't wear a dental floss bikini or Daisy Dukes or a crop top or a super low cut shirt and think that all's well ends well. Like it doesn't make any sense. Like, why do half of your boobies have to be out for God to know your heart and stop criticizing me? It's dumb. So, with modesty, to wrap it up, if you dress like a stripper around children, you're a predator. And if you think that saying, God knows me, it's a heart issue, is gonna save you, stop. Don't. All right. Next, we have manifestation. I see mainly like witchcraft, manifestation, the like unlocking your mind, pseudoscience, heavily, heavily, mainly women. Okay, mainly women. And it's so weird because it's like on I remember on TikTok it was a trend to talk about how you're gonna eat 12 grapes under the table on New Year's to get a husband. Listen, I'm Catholic. I have weird rituals, and I understand that. But this whole it just come on now. Just come on now. That's my favorite thing to say. Come on now. So I put manifestation in the list because I do see it like very, very heavily female dominated. Next, this is the last one. I had to bring this up. Calling women they disagree with pick-me's. Now, do I think that there's actual pick-me behavior, like being a grifter, stuff like that? Yes, 1,000%. Or saying, oh, because I don't do this or that, I'm like so much better than everyone. Do I think that's pick-me behavior? Yes. Grifting, acting like you're above all, that's definitely pick-me behavior. But when I say my opinions about modesty, for example, literally something that I just talked about, oh, Bella, you're a pick-me. Oh, you're just saying that for men's attention. Want to know whose attention I care about more? God's. Yeah. I definitely do think that you can dress modestly for the wrong reasons. Like, I definitely used to think that, oh, dressing modestly, I'll get respect more, I'll get the guy that's right for me, I'll blah, blah, blah. And those things may be like good consequences of dressing modestly. However, your sole reason for dressing modestly, your main reason, should be God, you know? And understanding that clothing yourself with virtue is better than undressing yourself for vice. I don't really exactly know what that means, but I'm just gonna say it. So just because you disagree with someone does not mean that they're a pick-me. It's like, I definitely don't agree with the whole tradwife movement. I think a lot of it's glamorized and just baptized porn, basically. But I will say that just because a woman wants that lifestyle in the sense that she wants to be a mom, a mother, doesn't mean that she's a pick-me. Like, for example, I love vintage clothing, and it's like, I like to dress modestly. I try to, anyway, and I like vintage clothes. That doesn't make me a pick-me. That just means I like cute clothes. And I don't want to show off all my bits. I I don't understand how that'd be like pick-me behavior. If I was doing it to be a grifter, yeah, that's pick-me behavior, but not every single thing that you disagree with from another woman equals she's a pick-me. All right. Now we're going to get to the solution part of the video. So, solutions. Accountability. Accountability. um saying like, yeah, I did that. No ifs, ands, buts, or nah, I didn't mean it. It's okay to not know that you did something wrong, but you still have to be like, oh, I shouldn't have done that. Let me repent. So, accountability. Next, we have chastity. You know, if you're an unmarried woman, stop reading the smut. That's another thing. We talk a lot about how men are addicted to porn, which is definitely true. But also, what about the smut? What about the chastity? You know? Um, and just, all the things, you know? Uh, Next we have modesty in and out. Modesty is definitely like, what are my intentions? What am I saying? What am I thinking about this? Like turning your eyes away from temptation. But it's also the way you dress. And I also think that we often ignore what the saints have said about certain clothes, makeup, um, things like that. So modesty in and out. And it's a journey. I'm not saying you have to know everything. I'm still on my journey 100%. But modesty in and out. That doesn't mean you're a meek little weasel who doesn't do anything. It just means that you are wanting to clothe yourself with virtue, which includes covering up a bit more, having some things and language and peeping being for marriage. understanding that, etc., etc. Listen. Next is going to be listen instead of just hearing. You know, this kind of goes with the whole silent treatment pettiness thing. You gotta listen, not just hear. Okay, hearing, you can hear what someone's saying, and you could just go one out, in out the other ear, okay? Listen to what people have to say. Next is speak with truth, not lies. Speak truth. Speak the gospel. Stop slandering and gossiping. And if someone that you know is truly doing something wrong, call them out on it. Don't just say, "Oh, you're doing so cool." No. Next, be happy with the success of your friends and don't use their failures to weaponize it against them. Pretty self-explanatory, but yes. Next, we have ignoring mortal sins. Moral, not mortal. Ignoring moral sins equals hell. So, ignoring your friends who are talking all about this smut and revenge and other things of that nature. It's okay to call people out. Okay? And this leads me into my next piece of advice, which is that advice does not equal an attack. Someone giving you advice in a calm, well-meaning way is not an attack. Okay? Someone saying, "Yeah, you shouldn't have done that." That's not an attack. That's not in an attack. Next is think before doing. Just, think before you do things more. Last piece of advice before I end this video, almost half an hour long, is to stop deflecting and start reflecting. Okay? It's my last piece of advice. I'm gonna say it one more time. Stop deflecting and start reflecting. Okay? Look yourself in the mirror and think, why did I do that? Can I apologize? I must repent. Instead of saying, "Oh, well, I didn't mean it like that. I didn't, whatever." So, to sum up this video, we talk a lot about how men, should work on themselves and do better, and I think that's amazing. But I think we also ought to understand that men's sins are kind of like explosions, and women's sins are kind of like Chinese water torture. What do I mean by that? Men's sins are very explosive, abrasive, physical, like very obviously visual. Women's sins are, you gotta look a little deeper. And what is Chinese water torture? It's where they strap someone down and have a speck of water going on their forehead every single second, and it literally drives people crazy. So women's sins are more like, Chinese water torture, like just little things over and over and over again. Men's sins are more like big, abruptive, explosive, very obvious. But women's sins, they kind of hide under the radar and they kind of simmer, kind of boil, So this is the end of the video today. I hope you guys liked this video, and if you have anything else to add or your experiences or things that you disagree with in the comments, let me know. And I hope you guys have an awesome possum day. Just before New Year's? Maybe it is New Year's. So yeah, bye!